this press conference was intended to be him talking about the economy. And there is some positive economic news. Unemployment rate is down to 13.3%, which is an improvement. But let's put it in historical context. For recoveries, yes, we have recovered a little bit, but we're in that red line. And so maybe let's not have too big of a party just yet. Yes, for everyone who got their jobs back, about half of which are people who'd been temporarily furloughed and are being brought back, that is obviously much needed help. And it's much needed, especially since the government cared so little to help you over the past few months. So that is good. Let's acknowledge that. Total payroll employment is still down 12.8% over the past 3 months. 19.6 million jobs on net have been shuttered across much of the economy. And I want to go to one particular part of that, because in the same way that the coronavirus has had a disproportionate impact on Black and brown people, the economic impact has similarly been like that. And while there's been some improvement in these most recent numbers, not for those communities, which was brought up to Donald Trump during his press conference by Yamiche Alcindor. And take a look how Donald Trump responded to those concerns, bearing in mind the nature of the protests going on around the country.
Black unemployment went up by 0.1%. Asian American unemployment went up by 0.5%. How is that a victory?
You are something.
How is that a victory?
Thank you very much.
She said, so why are you celebrating when these individuals who are crying out for you to recognize them are actually they're doing even worse. There's been like a little bit of improvement for some people, but they're doing worse. You're really something, he says.
You're really something. And as he said, so Fox News helps Trump out a lot. One way they helped him out was with the placement of their lower third, which is the part of the screen that's typically down here, because it covers up the teeny tiny baby desk he's at. He sits down at the most comically tiny desk. Stephen Moore is Trump's economic advisor, the guy who thinks he's awesome because he sometimes goes on Bill Maher's show. He says, I'm doing cartwheels in my living room. That's what he said about the jobs numbers.
Ugh.
Jim Cramer, it's stupendous, he said. Trump, George Floyd looking down and smiling. Like, read the country, Ron. Read the country. Because if you look around, it's obviously not good. And this shows just how detached from reality you are. There is horrible, horrible stuff happening in America. People are dying. People are getting killed. This feeling, unfortunately, is what Trump thrives on. And he's not going to change. He's not going to suddenly pivot. It would probably help him if he pivoted and came up with a different strategy. But he is, we always wonder. We talk about the Great American Experiment. The Great American Experiment now is, what if someone only campaigned the same way all the time? Like Bernie Sanders supporters say, Bernie hasn't changed in 20 years, in 40, 50 years. He's always been fighting for the same thing. And that's a good thing. That's integrity. But Trump has always also been doing the same thing for 40, 50 years, which is just trying to market himself. And since he got into politics 4 years ago, the guy has thrived on vitriol and division. And he hasn't changed. Probably should. Now we get to see how this experiment plays out if he continues to do the same thing, even when America is coming apart at the seams.
I'm glad that you pointed out some of those, the Jim Cramer and stuff like that. And look, like we said, anyone who gets their job back, obviously much needed, long needed. Half of the job, like I said, half of the jobs coming back, or half of the new employment is people who'd been furloughed. Half of the people who, there's tons of people who've been furloughed have not come back. And maybe hypothetically, if there had been more aid to the many small businesses, a lot of this is leisure and food and things like that. And what about the experience of those people, even the ones who got their jobs back? What has their experience been like for the past couple of months? Have they been just, hanging out at their mansions and making it rain with the $1,200 that were given to them? Like Stephen Moore and Jim Cramer, man, they had a bad period in the stock market for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. That already long since recovered. But the savings that evaporated, plans to open up your own business, all of that, Does that come back suddenly? Do all these people just get back their savings that they had to burn through or the debt that they had to go in over the past 2 months? No. Are they doing cartwheels? I doubt it. And the thing is, really fast, all of these people claim to be populists. The politicians and the people on Fox who support them are supposedly against the elites. They're for the people who've been ignored, the silent Americans that the elites forget about. And weirdly, their gold-toileted billionaire is excited that the stock market's doing better and is ignoring the concerns, mainly about law enforcement, but there's a lot of other concerns that have driven people to the streets in all 50 states. I mean, when are we going to learn how much of a charade this is?
I don't know, man. I gotta watch the desk he goes over to.
Oh my
Look at
God.
that. That's his tiny desk. Tiny desk boy. Bunker Boy's baby desk. That dude. Come on, bro.
So
but
this
as you
is
saw,
again.
and when she starts asking a question, he goes, shh.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should have. So yeah, I apologize. This is the church. This is all it is. It's let's have a little photo op and pretend that things are going well. We're going to have a photo op where we're telling you that the economy is doing just fine. You don't have to worry about it. And he's signing a bill. It's like normal times. Him standing in front of a church. He has to look strong.
He's going to Mount Rushmore next.
Yeah, he's going to sit on a tiny little chair at it. Like, all these things that are intended to make him look strong only make him look strong if you don't care about the protests and thus don't care about the fact that he's ignoring it, that he has no ability or willingness to bring people together or to fix the actual problems that America faces. If all you want is for him to sit sullenly at a tiny little desk and say little, I'm allowed to say it, little bitchy things to reporters, if that's what you want, then sure, he's strong. Yeah, that's your strong man.
He sits at
How
his little
pathetic
desk.
American fascism is.
You expect him to just pull out his little foldy desk he got from Target. Like, okay, here's my little desk. Am I right? Shh. And his stupid signature, which is just this.
Yeah.
He's such a turd. And the people who think he's strong, I can't.
Oh my God.
I can't even.
Oh my God. How pathetic. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.